This is a good outfit for today. Morning, everyone. Happy New Year, by the way. It's Monday. I'm starting my second week of classes today. I'm gonna finish getting ready while I talk to you about what I want to do for today's video. So if you couldn't tell by the title, I want to rebrand myself. I want to rebrand for my social media, for this channel, for my portfolio website, and it's actually been something that I've wanted to do for quite a while. Basically, the social media handle that I have now is called Kathy the Kip, and I remember a few weeks ago, this is when I was still in Italy, we were waiting to catch the train. Like, we were waiting for like the rest of the people in our like study abroad group to show up to catch the train to Pisa, and while we were killing time, we decided to exchange each other's like Instagram handles, and one of my friends asked me for mine, and I, gave it to her. Hey, it's Kathy the Kip on Instagram. And they were like, what does this mean? Like, what's the meaning behind your social media handle? And I think I tried my best to explain to her how it's basically like my initials, but with an I dropped in between, and how I guess it's like a unique name to me, which I feel like for personal branding, no matter how unique your name is, if it doesn't resonate with you, it's not a good name. But yeah, as I was explaining my handle to her, I feel like if you could listen to that conversation in the tone of my voice, like I was not into it, I wasn't buying into it. And essentially that day I realized that I hated my social media handle. I don't like Kathy the Kip. Like, what does Kip even mean? And I settled on Kip because, well, number one, I tried a lot of designs, and that was the one that like looked the best to me. But also my previous social media handle used to be Kalina. It used to be Kalina_Kathy. I don't know if I'm gonna return to that, but I do want to go back to Kalina. But the backstory behind that name, I pretty much had that name for most of my childhood. It wasn't like a nickname or anything, like nobody called me by that name, but it was just like an online alias that I came up with when I was in like 3rd grade. Basically, I was playing this MMORPG called Jade Dynasty, and I was absolutely obsessed with that game. Like, every single day after school from like 3rd to 5th grade, I would like go online and play that game like right after I did my homework. And when you're in like the character selection, like character customization screen, you have the option to like choose your own screen name. But the thing is that you have to type out a name that is unique to pretty much like the entire server. Like, no other character will have your name. So with my real name being Kathy Pham, you have a very basic American first name with a very basic, very common Vietnamese last name. And even when I wanted to type in like Kathy, obviously that was taken because it's a very common name, but I also didn't want to use my full name because it was like it's too personal. Also, I was like 8 years old. What business did I have playing that game at all? I was like, okay, how about I try to come up with a unique name that most likely no one has ever come up with, and use that for my screen name. So I tried a lot of like other names that started with K, and somewhere down the line it ended up with Kalina. I hit the enter, and hey, I got the name, and it was unique to me, and that was basically the sort of alias that I kept using. I used it throughout middle school and high school as like my social media handle, and I think by the time I got into college I wanted to stray away from that name because I was too connected to my childhood in that sense. I wanted to basically like grow up, and yeah, I'm thinking about rebranding and going back to that name that I had basically my entire childhood. So that is essentially the premise to the meat and bones of this video, is that I want to rebrand myself, and I'm taking y'all along for the ride. But first, I have class. Okay, I just made it back home and I made lunch. I have pancakes right here. It looks a little bright on camera, but low key, these look anemic, but it's food, it's sustenance, it's sugar. But first order of business is to change my username. This is the first step that for some reason was always like the hardest. I'm going to my Instagram, edit profile. I'm scared. I'm kind of scared to do this. Let's do an underscore. Okay, it looks like it's available. Let's tap done. A user with that username already exists. Frick, an X work? Okay, the X does work. Okay. Sad that the underscore is gone, but we did the first step in the process. So I finished going on my iPad to do some logo iterations, and I don't know, I tried to fill up the whole page, but honestly, the moment that I settled on this, which actually comes from this one, I don't know, I just really like the K and the I here. I'm probably gonna reuse the I. This isn't to say that I'm not gonna use any of these other ones. I definitely am leaning towards this one for like an alternative logo, but this one takes the cake. So it's basically a week after since you last saw me, and I am finally done with my website. It took me quite a few days to get everything sorted together with like my domain and everything. Like I spent a full day trying to get like my new website domain to connect with like GoDaddy and everything, and it took a bit, and I was stressed out and I was going through it, but it's finally here, it's finally done, and I'm pretty happy with what I managed to put together in a week. So I'll just give you a rundown of how the website navigation works. We have the logo on the top left, social media at the bottom. On the left, we have a selection of works. I'm really into this like early internet, Windows 95, Windows 98 type of aesthetic. So for each of my works, I decided to include like an icon on the side where you hover over on the side and you'll get to see this cute little icon. And of course, if you hover over the actual text, it'll just be like a regular link. Oh, and also on the right, if you hover over it, it gives you a little explanation of Kalina, my online alias, and just why I chose it. But yeah, I'm definitely in my cobalt blue era right now. Info is at the top and it will take you to an about page with a little blurb of my biography. companies, people that I've worked with, email. And then I have a little cute little selfie from when I was in Fiesole in Italy a couple weeks ago. And I decided to frame it within this like digital camera, which again, I think is super cute and really fun. Let's go back to home. So I'll take you through each of my portfolio works one by one. So this is what I have for Betches. So for pretty much all of my portfolio works, I have this very simple, very rundown layout of the title on the top left in like very big condensed font, a little blurb about what I worked on, a back to home link for convenience, and on the bottom left I have basically like little categories or descriptors for what kind of design or what kind of thing I was doing. So here we have like the article banners I did for my Betches internship last summer, the Weekend at Betches newsletter banners, and also some social media work for the Betches Instagram pages. I also did some stuff for the Betches merchandise site, Shop Betches, and yeah, these are basically just things that I designed for their apparel and just for hats and general merch. I did some illustrations for Rakiva's blog. Blurple, this is like my most favorite personal project. I wanted to create this like really cool futuristic brand identity for this type of very, again, like futuristic cool toned purple blurply makeup brand. And I was really in like a purple phase at the time, so I just really loved it. And I decided to create a whole brand identity for it. And at the bottom we have some mock-ups, which honestly took forever. Like I think I spent like a whole month on this project, but you know what? I think it was worth it. The hard work really paid off because I did this like almost 3 years ago. But it's still in my portfolio, and I think that says a lot about how much I like this project. Food packaging, this was from the same time period that I did the Blurple project, but if any of you guys have watched my earlier content, I'm a huge gaming nerd. I really love Final Fantasy, so I decided to put my own spin on some ways to integrate things that I enjoy about Final Fantasy but in real life. And I really love food, so I decided to turn Kupo Nuts into a whole brand, and Stamps Champs from Final Fantasy VII Remake specifically into its own dedicated brand identity, as if it were to be sold in real life at like a grocery store. So music, again, wanted to try my own hand at creating album art, poster, and some additional branding assets. I really like the type on this. I was really into it. And then finally we have posters. This is just a variety of posters that I did probably within the past like 2-3 years. Again, just mostly personal projects. Again, I like them, wanted to include them in my portfolio to show people what I'm capable of when it comes to posters and print design. Yeah, that is pretty much it for the website. If you want to know where I got these icons from, I got it from this Tumblr site called oldwindowsicons.com. What I did was that I went into the archive. I pretty much just looked at all the icons that were available and I just chose which one I liked. So let's do this Illustrator one. Saved image into my downloads. Yeah, what I did basically is that I resized them to be about 120 by 120 pixels. Felt like that was a good size, but usually when you put the image in, it's gonna be really big and there's gonna be a ton of extra space. So this is 540 by 500, which is way too big. So what I did is that I cropped it and then I just scaled it down to, again, 120 by 120, exported it. And ReadyMac has this like custom cursor option. So if you were to go to the link And there's this one, custom cursor. You can replace it with whatever icon you wish. But yeah, that is essentially my website. I really had fun with it. I really had fun with this project and just getting to do like a little refresh, restart, rebrand, new year, new me, as cheesy as it sounds. Yeah, I'm really happy with this website. And it's one less thing for me to worry about while I continue working on my thesis. More vlogs coming soon. Definitely doing vlogs on my thesis project and my thesis process, just documenting everything. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as I try to get back into the swing of things when it comes to YouTube and social media and everything. Thank you for being patient. And again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the support. Thank you for everything. If you guys want to follow me outside of YouTube, I am pretty active on Instagram at KalinaXKathy. I'm so proud to finally say that out loud and not cringe. But other than that, I will see you guys next time. Till then, stay safe, stay happy, stay lovely, and I hope you've had a great new year. See you then. Bye.